the world is a fast changing one at the moment, and especially like if you really believe in AI, like you call it AGI pilled, you're pilled that AGI will soon come, which I would consider myself being, then it's hard to predict the future, right? Like I struggle to make plans like past couple, like now a couple months, but like before I didn't do a PhD because I thought the world was changing so fast that I couldn't like be confident in the fact that a PhD would be something that would be useful in 5 years when the PhD would be done. And I think this is like actually a struggle in my life at the moment. I don't really find stuff that I'm very confident will be valuable or that of some definition of value in like a couple of years. Um, but I think it's interesting because you once told me something related to this, that because you've lived through several other eras of technology changing stuff very fast, and you said something along the lines of um, people did predicted the future would change a lot, and they were right. It did change a lot, but there were like fundamental things um, that stayed. Yeah, can you like can you give me comfort in like what things will not change, and like if someone is in my position, how should they think about planning for the future?
Yeah. Um, my own take on it, which I'm not sure if I would be a person to give out recommendations to anyone else, but my own take on it is that um, humans, like what it means to be a human at the core of it, that is changing much more slowly. Like we are changing quite a lot. Like if you look at, for instance, yeah, my wife told me yesterday there's new data out on how we spend our time socially, and like the shift from us primarily hanging out with our family and maybe like neighbors and close friends to now spending most of the time online, still hanging out with people, but it's a completely different way, right? Because you're not in the same room. And of course, there's still interaction, but there's a lot of stuff that's actually very different when you interact on a screen than if you're in the same room where you're able to actually physically touch another human being. Those things change and will keep changing us quite a bit. But um, humans, evolutionary, we haven't been changing that much in recent
Yeah.
years. It's a much slower process. What what I, on the one hand, maybe find comfort in, but primarily I think actually points to something that I think is important. Is um, I think I even wrote an article about this at some point, and I jokingly called it existential intelligence. So if we look at what AI so far, from what we can see, like what it can do already now, we can expect it to be able to do fairly soon. Like it can replace a lot of things, a lot of processes that we humans have been uniquely doing on this planet. Like a lot of the work of the human labor, a lot of the logical thinking, a lot of the creative expressions, art, music, that kind of thing, is all of a sudden being done more vastly, in a sense, much faster by AI. And obviously just automating a lot of stuff that a lot of people probably don't even want to do, but it's part of our culture, it's part of our work structure. Those things are bound to change, are already changing. And that I've seen, having lived through a few of these, specifically like the internet and then social media. It's like that changed. I've already seen it happen. It's like all of a sudden, a lot of jobs disappear, a lot of new jobs appear, and how we interact and how we create things change dramatically. However, what I'm not seeing AI being remotely close to doing yet, I could definitely be wrong here, but I don't see it happening at all, is to have the somatic experience that a human being can have. Like AI does not have a human body. So feeling emotions in the same way as humans feel emotions and feeling somatic touch in the same way as humans feel somatic touch, we're not there. And that's something that I think will stay uniquely human for quite some time. And it doesn't seem to have human intuition. We have this field of intelligence that goes beyond our logical mind, where we have, for instance, the body. And in my own experience, if we kind of touch towards the spiritual realm of things, I experience us to be multidimensional beings. And everything is, of course, multidimensional if you look at it from like a quantum physics perspective. And everything is like, time. If we go into the time thing, then AI has always been here. It's like, it's not a new thing because time, time is perhaps not as much of a real thing as we experience it to be all the time. But that said, human intuition and human somatic experience seems to be uniquely human in our experience. And that, to me, is also why, on the one hand, you have the technological shifts, and then you have all of the political and environmental and financial turmoil, hence the meta crisis going on. And then you also have the spiritual renaissance, which taps into a lot of these things. And that is where I'm putting my focus. Like, that's my bet on. It's happening for me intuitively by itself, but it also makes sense to me that like that is the thing that we can do, that we will be needed for. And like someone said that when you look at what technology is already covered, like it's information, like it's better than human beings at information. It's better at reasoning, depending on how you look at it, but it will be. If you don't think it is already now, it will be better at reasoning. But what we have uniquely left to focus on is human presence. And I think we'll be valued even more for our presence and our intuition and our ways of like navigating. And it connects once again to navigating complexity. It connects to shamanism. It's like, and spirituality. It's like, that's all in there. We can navigate this world in ways that we haven't highlighted as much. We haven't talked about as much. We don't have it in our educational institutions yet as much.
Right.
There might be a little bit of yoga and meditation here and there, but it's like, it's not there. It's not there yet.